This is News First Weekend with Arundhati Mudannaika.
A very good evening and welcome to this Sunday's edition of Weekend Primetime News. I'm Arundhati Mudannaika and as always, let's start off with a look at tonight's headlines. The United People's Freedom Alliance roams to victory in the local government elections with the United National Party suffering a humiliating defeat. The opposition complains that the election was neither free nor fair. However, the Secretary of the UPFA states that the election result is proof of the fact that the elections were conducted in a free and fair manner. Members of the United National Party blamed the party leadership for yesterday's defeat. And the cassettes of a News First cameraman who was covering a protest in Kiribati were stolen by a group that arrived at the location. The United People's Freedom Alliance recorded a resounding victory in the second phase of the local government elections held yesterday. The UPFA secured victory in 45 out of the 65 local government bodies for which elections were held.
During yesterday's poll, the United People's Freedom Alliance secured victory in 1 municipal council, 5 urban councils and 39 Pradeshia Sabhas. Incidentally, the Ilanke Tamil Arasu Katchi secured victory in 18 local government bodies, steamrolling over the main opposition party, the United National Party. The Ilanke Tamil Arasu Katchi clinched victory in 3 urban councils and 15 Pradeshia Sabhas. Furthermore, the Tamil United Liberation Front, or TULF, secured victory in 2 Pradeshia Sabhas. The United National Party and the Janata Vimukti Peramuna failed to secure a single local government body at yesterday's poll. Much attention was drawn to the northern province as elections are being held in the region after a lapse of several years. In the Jaffna district, the election was held for 16 local government institutions and Ilanke Tamil Arasu Katchi secured victory in 13 local government institutions, while the United People's Freedom Alliance secured victory in the Kites, Velane and Derved Pradeshia Sabhas. Meanwhile, in the Kilinochchi district, the TULF won 2 local government institutions and the Ilanke Tamil Arasu Katchi secured 1 institution. In the Mullaitivu district, the election was held for the Thunukai Pradeshia Sabha and the Ilanke Tamil Arasu Katchi secured 7 seats, while the Citizens Front secured 2 seats.
Posters were pasted all over the district, including Kilinochchi and other 2 Pradesh Sabha areas. There had been very instances where the army had been distributing leaflets, they had been posting posters, they had been preventing others from distributing leaflets and posting posters. Army had threatened the people there. I don't say that they had gone there with a gun and threatened them with bodily harm. Otherwise, you see, I am thoroughly disappointed with the manner in which the elections are conducted.
I can say that the people were able to cast their vote yesterday without hindrance. We can be proud of the fact that the voter turnout stood at 65%. In Kilinochchi, prior to the election day, polling cards of voters had been stolen and they had been threatened. In many places, money and goods have been provided. The people remain in fear as meetings organized by the Ilanke Tamil Arasu Katchi came under attack recently. Therefore, it needs to be mentioned that the environment was not conducive for people to freely exercise their franchise.
The United People's Freedom Alliance secured victory in all 6 local government bodies in Colombo, Gampaha and Kaluthara districts in the Western Province. Incidentally, the United National Party lost control of the Minuwanguda Urban Council, which had been governed by the party for some time. The ruling party emerged victorious in 3 local government institutions in the Kandy district, 2 institutions in the Mathare district and 1 in the Norelia district in the Central Province. These are the final election results of the Gaul and Mathare districts. The Ilanke Tamil Arasu Katchi emerged victorious in 3 local government institutions in the Ampara and Trincomalee districts in the Eastern Province, while the UPFA clinched victory in 3 local government bodies. The ruling party clinched victory in 4 local government institutions in the Kurunegala district and 4 local government institutions in the Putlam district. These are the election results of the North Central Province. Meanwhile, elections were held for 2 local government bodies in the Monoragala district and the ruling party emerged victorious. The UPFA also emerged victorious in 4 local government bodies in the Ratnapura district and 3 institutions in the Kegaul district.
මේ මැතිවරණ ප්‍රතිඵල අපේ රටේ ජනතාව නිදහසේ සාධාරණව තමයි.
It is difficult to see this election as an election where people cast their vote in a free and fair manner. During the past few days, the government abused state power and the security forces in its election campaign. Especially in the north, the people were subtly threatened by using the security forces. The government has got defeated in the north. From the other side, there is a decrease of votes received by the JVP. However, we have been able to increase our percentage in urban areas.
ප්‍රදේශවලදී අපි අපේ ඡන්ද ප්‍රතිශතය වැඩි කර ගැනීමට සමත් වෙලා තියෙනවා.
The United National Party says that the election that was held yesterday to elect members to 65 local government institutions was not a free and fair election. Issuing a communique, the UNP notes that for the first time in history, the armed forces were deployed for election activities of the ruling party. It added that the government shamelessly used the state media, state resources, as well as state officials for its election campaign from the very day that the election date was announced.
So I take this opportunity to thank people who cast their vote for UPFA. We totally reject the allegation made by UNP and the JVP that we use and we force voters to cast their votes especially in northern part of the island and even other places. We observed during the election campaign, of course, there was no effective election campaign conducted by opposition parties. Without organizing their camp, of course, it is useless to make such allegation for UPFA victory. Now, for an example, in Jaffna district, there are 16 local authorities. So UPFA won only 3 and all other 13 won by TNA. So this is a good example that we didn't do any kind of in our supporters to win local authorities by force.
Now, for an analysis on yesterday's election, we have with us in our studios News First Shamir Rasulin. Good evening, Shamir.
A very good evening to you, Arundhati.
Well, Shamir, starting off with this question to you. Shamir, how do you view the outcome of yesterday's election?
Now, there were two sides for this election, Arundhati. When you look at the numbers, of course, you clearly see that the United People's Freedom Alliance has emerged or recorded a resounding victory. 45 seats of the 65 seats local government bodies that were in contention were won by the United People's Freedom Alliance. But when you look at the effort put by the UPFA in the northern province, you saw how the president went on campaigning in the northern province. You saw how government, high-ranking ministers, officials attached to the government went on campaigning in the northern province. You see that they have really lost ground. They have lost their control in the northern province. You see the Tamil National Alliance, in fact, really coming into play there, winning over 15 of the local government bodies. The Tamil United Liberation Front too records victory at 2 local government bodies, and the UPFA only managed to win over 3 local government bodies in the northern province. So when you look at it in a very open-minded way, you really could see that the government has really lost the election as far as the northern province is concerned. But really getting back to the party really who has lost this election is the United National Party, Arundhati. They have not won any seat or any local government body during this second phase of the local government election. Now, this is compared to the 1956 defeat the UNP had in the 1956 general election. They only garnered 8 seats from the 76 seats that were in contention. Now, when you really look at this election, you could really see the voter percentage has really dropped as far as the United National Party is concerned. Now, why is this? Now, this is a party that really garnered 4.7 million votes at the 2005 presidential election. The government has been able to capitalize on their strengths, and the United National Party as a party has really failed in their efforts to establish control. You see, 22% was the drop as far as the voter percentage of the United National Party is concerned during this election. You see in 2010 it was 28%. Again, there is a drop. You see the manner in which the UNP has really lost its voter base as far as the elections have been concerned.
So do you mean to say that the United National Party is losing its vote base at the grassroots level?
There is no second word about that, Arun. They really have lost it, because the local government election is an election where individuals really vote during the village level. The rural sector really votes. And the United National Party as a party has really failed in achieving its objectives. Now, why is this? Now, let me recollect your memories. 1956, when J.R. Jayawardena lost the election, they only managed to garner 8 seats at this election. And he says at the 1957 rally, he goes to Kandy from Colombo, and in his diary he mentions the importance of the United National Party restructuring themselves, going to the people and capitalizing on these small things like going to the grassroots and bringing in what they call as the most important thing in order to steer the party towards victory. What did they do in 1977? Resounding victory. 1977, the United National Party was able to win over 140 of the 104 seats that were in contention. And he establishes control for nearly 1.5 decades. J.R. Jayawardena is being able to establish control, establish a government of the United National Party. Why is this? Because of the simple fact they were able to capitalize on these grassroots level factor. And that is why they emerged victorious. And this is what the present leadership of the National Party has failed to do so. Capitalize on their strengths. Go to the village, capitalize on those things. And that is what is imperative in order to move forward, in order to achieve success. And that is what the party stalwarts also really point out.
One final question to you, Shamit. What are the most significant developments in yesterday's election?
Now, I see this as a very positive sign as the Citizens Front is concerned. They have established what sort of control. Now, they only contest one Pradesh Sabha, that is the Tunukai Pradesh Sabha in Mullaitivu, and then they win over 2 seats. Now, I compare the numbers to the United National Party. The United National Party contests 18 local government bodies in the northern province and is only able to secure a victory on 2 occasions. There's only 2 seats. They only have 2 seats under their belt even after contesting 18 local government bodies. We see parties such as the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Sri Lanka Muslim Congress, the Tamil National Alliance, the TULF, that has been in operation, that has been in existence for a long period of time. However, what you see here right now is the fact that how such a party that was formed a few years ago have come out strong. They really established that prowess as far as the party is concerned. The Citizens Front has been able to win over 2 seats of the only Pradesh Sabha that they contested in Tunukai Mullaitivu. Now, I see this as a very positive sign. It may not be a revolutionary change that they can achieve in the next couple of years or so, but this is something that other political parties also have to think about. There might be a challenge in the future to the political mainstream. There might be the other party who really can make that change. And that is what is imperative. When the UNP is failing, the Citizens Front might be an alternative party in the future that really comes out strong and establishes their prowess as far as the electoral victories are concerned.
Well, thank you very much, Shamit, for that detailed analysis. Let's now take a look at the views expressed by members of the United National Party.